All right, guys. So we're going to practice writing the commutative property of multiplication to write multiplication sentences that are related. Okay. So the commutative property of multiplication states that when you change the order of the factors, the product stays the same. Okay. So if I have 3 times 2 equals 6. 3 and 2 are my factors, and 6 is your product. That's your answer. Now, 3 and 2 are my factors. With the commutative property, it states that if I change the order of my factors, which means instead of 3 times 2, I have 2 times 3, I'm still going to get the answer of 6. Let's work through some examples together. Okay, so look at the picture on your screen. I draw an array to represent a multiplication problem. So let's look and let's write a multiplication problem for this array. So I'm going to have 2 factors, and I'm going to multiply to find the product. First, let's look at the number of rows. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. My first factor is a 5. Now let's look at the number of columns, or the number in each row. 1, 2. I have 2 in each row. So my multiplication sentence for the number of rows and the number of columns is 5 times 2. Let's see how many we have all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my product is 10. That's my first multiplication sentence to represent this array. I'm going to write a problem using the commutative property of multiplication to write a related multiplication sentence. I'm going to be using the same 2 factors of 5 and 2, and I'm still going to get a 10 because my factors are the same. But instead of 5 times 2, I'm going to change the order of the addends. So I'm going to write a 2 as the first factor and a 5 as the second factor. So the multiplication equation of 2 times 5 equals 10 is a related multiplication sentence of 5 times 2 equals 10. I have used the same factors, or the numbers that I'm multiplying together. I used a 5 in both, and I used a 2 in both. And because I used the same 2 factors both times, I got the answer of 10. Let's look at another example together. Okay. On your screen, you have a new array. We're going to use this array to write a multiplication sentence, okay? Then we're going to take and use a commutative property of multiplication to write a related multiplication sentence. Let's start with the first multiplication sentence, and we will find our 2 factors and our product. Let's find our first factor. Count the number of rows that you see. Go ahead and count. How many rows did you count? Correct. You should have counted 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. So my first factor is a 6. Now we're going to count how many in each row. Count those columns. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So your next factor is a 4. So your factors are 6 and 4. Now count and tell me how many we have all together. Count those stars. We counted, and there are 24 altogether. So 6 times 4 equals 24. Now I'm going to use the commutative property to write a related multiplication sentence for the same picture. All right, so my answer is still going to be 24. That's not going to change. I'm going to take my factors of 6 and 4 and just reverse the order. So instead of 6 times 4, I'm going to put my 4 first. 4 times 6 equals 24. 6 times 4 equals 24. A related multiplication sentence would be 4 times 6 equals 24. Again, my factors did not change. I used a 6 in both multiplication problems, and I also used a 4 in both multiplication problems, which is why I got the same answer of 24 in both. As long as the two factors are multiplied together stay the same, you're not going to get a different answer. That does not matter. Let's try another one. On your screen, you have another model of model we are going to use to write multiplication sentences. Okay? Take a look and see how many groups and how many in each group. Those are going to be our factors. How many groups do you see? 3. Good. 1, 2, 3 groups. I have 3 groups, so my first factor is a 3. In each group, there are 4 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each group has 4 stars, so my next factor is a 4. That tells me I have 3 groups and 4 stars in each group. Now I'm going to count how many stars you have all together. Count the stars in the groups all together. Should have gotten 12. So your multiplication sentence for this picture is 3 groups of 4 equals 12. But I'm not done. I want to take and I want to write a related multiplication sentence based on this picture and the equation we just wrote. So I'm going to take my factors of 3 and 4 and flip the order. So I'm going to have 4 times 3 equals 12 altogether. In your math lesson today, that's what you're going to be working out. You're going to be getting a picture of a math problem. You're going to write a multiplication sentence based on the model, and then you're going to write a related multiplication sentence using the commutative property of multiplication. Go to the next screen to get started.